Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of Ringside Renegades. I am the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams.
I'm the cripple, Jade Hogan.
How's it going, Jim?
Oh,
Today we are here once again to give you a non-wrestling top 10. Today, as suggested by you, the fans, our top 10 non-wrestling books. As always, ladies first. And in no particular order.
Yeah.
What have you got for us?
Actually, it's kind of. My first one, of course, because I'm a Twitard. Twilight.
So would that be number one?
Yeah.
So should you probably start here and go that way? That way,
God,
that's last.
Fine.
I'm just saying, if that's your favorite book of all time, at least make that one last.
Fine. Okay. Fine, I'll start at the bottom of my list.
Okay.
Goodnight Moon.
What is that?
You never read Goodnight Moon?
What is that?
It's a kid's book.
Okay.
It's something that actually Nana read to Dylan first. And I grew up reading with my mom.
Okay.
I always thought it was such a cute book. I mean, Dylan will go out and actually say goodnight to the moon and the stars and dark, and it's so cute. You should read it.
Okay.
I think Natalie would love it. But and one that I'm reading to him now, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yes, there actually is a book of it.
Yeah, and I'm so bad at reading it, he falls asleep.
You said it, not me.
I admit, I have the worst reading ability ever. But hey, it puts my kid to sleep, so it's all good. It helps.
Okay.
Freckle Juice.
What is Freckle Juice?
It's a Judy Blume book. I absolutely adore Judy Blume.
Okay.
I love her style of writing. I've always loved her stories. They are so helpful and uplifting.
Okay, so why Freckle Juice then out of all of her books?
Because I have
why
freckles.
That one?
Because I've got freckles and I hated them growing up and just, ugh.
Okay.
And the whole thing is how, I think it was a little boy, right? Yeah, a little boy hated his freckles.
Mm-hmm.
And wanted to, get rid of them, and tells a whole story of, that, and I thought it was really cute and
okay.
Good. Forever. It's another Judy Blume book.
Okay.
It's a coming of age book, and
as most of hers are.
It's actually set in the 60s.
Okay.
And that is like one of my favorite eras. I've always kind of been like a little hippie. Yet I don't like the Beatles.
Shame on you.
But I like the Doors and all that. So.
It's okay. Go ahead and blast Jade in the comment box right here, or leave a video comments about how she's a Riri for not enjoying the Beatles.
Whatever.
Greatest band ever.
Ever. No.
Yes.
Goosebumps.
Okay.
It is the only book that has ever made me jump.
Which one?
I can't remember the name of it.
Because Goosebumps is a series of books.
I know, but I couldn't remember the name of the book that I read.
Mm-hmm.
But I remembered it was a Goosebumps book.
Okay.
I remember reading it, and then as I'm at the very end of the book, my mom comes in the room, and I didn't know. She came in so quietly, and she goes, "Jane." And I went, "Ah!" Screamed my head off at her. I was just like, "Oh my God."
Okay.
She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you." I was just like, "I was reading a book. Didn't see you." She's like, "I didn't know it was that scary of a book." Apparently it was.
Okay.
Green Eggs and Ham.
Okay.
Classic. It's just It's an all-American book. If you're American, you have to read that book. You know, come on.
Okay.
I love it. It's just so cute.
It's a good one.
And we're getting to my favorite ones now.
Should I get a vomit bag?
Oh.
Stat boy, can you bring me a barf bag, please?
Don't have one available. Sorry.
Whatever. The only series of books I've ever finished.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And I was very proud of myself for doing it because they weren't exactly easy reading either.
Okay.
Breaking Dawn, Eclipse, New Moon, and Twilight. I love these series. Stephanie Meyer, whatever, I can't ever say her name, is so genius. Her way of reading or writing is just so beautiful that you just get engrossed in it, and it's just like, I want that. I want that boy. I want that girl. I want it. I want that vampire. I adore it, and that's what got me to read the books. That's what got me to watch the movies, and now I'm just obsessed with it. I love it.
Very much so.
But I don't exactly sit there and try to get everybody else to be obsessed with it. I guess try to spread my love of it by having somebody watch it. But I don't sit there and say, you have to do this. You gotta watch this. It's a must. I say, if you would like to watch it, I would like to watch it with you. It's an awesome movie. I recommend it. That's what I say.
Movies are god-awful.
In your opinion. And
in very much, correct me if I'm wrong out there, every heterosexual male's opinion, these movies are god-awful.
I also have an honorable mention, though. It's the whole Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe series.
So Narnia.
Yeah. Well, what it is, like, it's not just Narnia, it's
the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
So it's Narnia.
Whatever. But my dad has the whole series, and I grew up watching them on, I think it was PBS. And
okay.
He started reading them to me, and then I read them more when I was older, and I love those to death. Plus I'm a Leo, and so it's a lion and got in my heart that way.
Okay.
But yes, those are
I'm a Leo, and I never could stand those books. So.
Oh God, I love them.
My top 10 list definitely bounces all around the spectrum.
Did you have any of the same?
I think I only have one book the same as yours.
Oh wow.
Only one.
I think I can know what it is too, without even looking at your list. Green eggs and ham.
Number 10 on my list, The Classic Tale of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's one of the few that I read in high school in my English class, and I just fell in love with the story of it.
I saw the movie. I didn't read the book.
We had to read the book, and then they showed us the movie. Number 9, The Walrus Was Paul by R. Gary Patterson.
I've never even heard of that.
It is a book basically on all the Paul is Dead clues that came out in the 60s.
I'm clueless. I'm so
For those
clueless.
of you that are way too young or just can't stand the Beatles like this one, there was a rumor going around in the 60s that Paul had died in a car crash.
Oh, okay.
And that the Paul that everybody knew in the later years was a clone. Or a look-alike.
Wow.
And there were supposedly strategically placed clues in songs and on album covers to prove this.
Mm-hmm.
For example, on the cover of Yesterday and Today, the second cover, Paul is sitting in like a suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
If you turn it to the side, it looks like he's in a coffin.
Huh. Really? Have you tried this?
I've looked at these. Yeah. Because I'm a Beatles fan. If you look at the grass on the Sgt. Pepper album where it says Beatles, they're all like block letters, so they also look like numbers. And the rumor was that if you dialed that phone number, you know, B would be an 8, E would be a 3, A would be a 4, T would be the 1. It's like if you dialed this phone number, Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the day begins, as is the opening line and she's leaving home, you would get the most up-to-date, like, details on Paul's death.
Have you tried it?
No. But by the time I discovered the Beatles, I'm sure that number didn't work if it ever did in the first place. The Walrus was Paul. You know, I Am the Walrus is sung by John. John was obviously the Walrus, but walrus is like a symbol of death in some countries and in some faiths. So the Walrus was Paul.
I never knew that. Huh.
I don't buy half of it, but it's still like, it makes the music even more fun than it already is for me, because I love the music. But then if you listen to some of the stuff like Revolution Number 9, if you play it backwards, it supposedly says, "Turn me on, dead man, turn me on, dead man."
Are you serious?
That one I have done, that one I have heard.
Really? Oh my god.
Number 8, I don't have the author for this one, but it's The Three Investigators, Funny Business. Three Investigators is a series of books about teenage crime detectives. And this particular installment of the book took place at a comic convention. And I just remember reading the book back when I actually was like into comic books and stuff. And all the stuff that they see at the convention, and it was it was really well written to the point where you could feel that you were at in the book with them.
Sounds like an episode of Waverly Place.
Who knows? Maybe they jacked that from the book.
You know what episode I'm talking about, too.
Number 7, Green Eggs in Ham by Dr. Seuss. And number 6, How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss.
How did I not think of that? I have the freaking movie.
I don't know. The movie is horrid.
No,
the Jim
not
Carrey
the Jim
movie
Carrey.
is horrid.
No, not Jim Carrey.
Well, that's the movie.
I'm sorry, the cartoon movie.
Okay. That one is much better.
Yeah, the actual
That's a special.
original.
That's a TV special.
Whatever.
Jim Carrey is the movie.
Into a DVD. So.
The movie was horrid, but the original Boris Karloff TV special was freaking epic. You're right.
That's why I own it. I love it.
The Grinch, awesome story about redemption and everything. It's just one of those must-reads for any kid and even grown-ups at Christmas time. You either got to watch the special or read the book to your kids.
Why didn't we read that this year?
Because we read 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
That's right, we did. I forgot.
Number 5, Charlotte's Web by E.B. White.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see, if you hadn't clogged up half your list with freaking Twitard crap, you could have had some actually good books.
I've read that.
Charlotte's Web is just phenomenal storytelling. Once again, my daughter has seen the 70s cartoon of it. When she gets a little bit older and can actually read, I'm going to insist that she read the book.
It's a really good book. I love that book. I had to read it in school, and I am so glad I had to read it.
Number 4 may come off as odd coming off of my list, but it's a book that I had heard so much about that I had to just read, and it was so perverted and twisted that anyone that knows my sense of humor knows why it made my list.
What?
The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty by Anne Rice under the pseudonym of A.N. Roclair. You want to talk about garbage romance novels? Sleeping Beauty don't get woken up by a kiss. She gets woken up by a poke, if you smell what I'm saying.
Oh, wow. I want to read this now.
So much so that with that poke, she is deflowered and spends the majority of the next 3 books on a sexual crusade as a sex slave and engaging in all kinds of other acts. It is just twisted. Keep in mind, this is the same woman that brought us Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned and all that stuff. But this is her sick, twisted, and perverse side.
Nice.
Number 3, A Tie by Judy Blume. Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing and Super Fudge.
Why?
Read them when I was in elementary school, and I very much related to the character of Fudge, the younger brother, troublemaker, just very Dennis the Menace-esque in his ways. Is not trying to be mean or bad, he's just mischievous. And that was totally me growing up. Number 2, The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein.
Never heard of it.
Essentially, a boy has a tree that he considers his best friend, and the tree always providing for him. If he's hungry, he provides apples. If he's hot, the tree provides shade, to the point where, you know, the tree, the boy needs somewhere to sit down one day, so chops the tree down so he can sit on the stump, and then he has no tree.
Aww.
It's a very sad story, but it's a really good story too, about when you take more than you can give to something, and eternal giving and not expecting anything in return. And number 1 on my list is A Time to Kill by John Grisham.
I've heard of it, but I've never read it.
It is an awesome book. I remember seeing the trailer for the movie back when the movie was about to come out. Sam Jackson, Sandra Bullock, Matthew McConaughey. And the trailer to this movie looked so awesome to me that I wanted to see this movie. And then I found out it was based on a book, and I was like, okay, I'm going to read the book first. Because generally movies don't do books justice. And this movie looks so awesome that I want to see the book first. And I read the book, and back then I was a bit of a slower reader, so by the time I finished the book, the movie was already out of theaters. So I had to wait for it to come out on video and rent it finally to see it. And oh my God. Almost everything I had envisioned in my head reading the book, you know, when you get really into a book, you kind of make your own movie in your head. It was right there on the screen. It was like perfectly translated. Everything I had envisioned was coming to fruition on the screen. So they did so beautifully in telling the story and translating it to the movie and everything that I just could not resist putting that as my number 1.
It's kind of what I did with Twilight. I envisioned this whole thing when I read the books, and then I saw the movie, and I was like, it's totally what I thought.
So, what do y'all think? Leave us comments, leave us your video responses, tell us what your top 10 non-wrestling books are, and we'll take a look at them. And until next time here on the channel, I'm the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams.
And I'm the Cripple, Jade Hogan.
A.K.A. Jim Hogan, and we will see you next week here on the channel.
Bye.